I'm not a good person. 20 years ago, I spent my life stealing cars, robbing houses, and running from the police. I traveled from one small town to another, looking for easy targets. My favorite victims were elderly couples, weak, alone, and easy to fool. Every robbery started the same way. I'd knock on their door around 9 at night, acting terrified. I'd tell them my car had broken down and my pregnant wife needed help. Most of them believed me. The moment they let me inside, I'd tie them up, empty the house, and disappear. I never enjoyed hurting people. I only wanted their money. But one night, I knocked on the wrong door, and everything changed. The house stood alone, at the end of a quiet road. Behind it was nothing but a dark forest. No neighbors, no street lights, just silence. I walked up to the front door, knocked 3 times, and waited. A few seconds later, the door slowly opened. The woman standing in front of me looked to be in her late 70s. Her gray hair was messy. Her eyes never left mine. I quickly started my usual story. "Ma'am, my car broke down. My wife is pregnant. I just need to use your phone." She didn't answer. She simply smiled. It wasn't a warm smile. It felt wrong, almost like she already knew why I was there. Then she grabbed my shoulder. Her hand felt surprisingly strong. Without saying another word, she slowly led me inside. The living room was old, dark, and strangely quiet. That's when I noticed something. A horrible smell. It wasn't normal. It smelled like rotten meat, wet wood, and something much worse. I tried not to react, but every second, the smell became stronger. Before I could say anything, heavy footsteps echoed through the house. Boom, boom, boom. The floor actually shook. Then, a massive man walked into the room. He had to be over 6 feet tall, built like a truck. In his hands was a hunting rifle. He didn't say a single word. He just stared at me, like I wasn't a guest. I was dinner. Then the old woman smiled again and shouted, "Hank, come here." The moment I heard another pair of footsteps, I knew I had made the biggest mistake of my life. I forced myself to smile. I just remembered. I left something in my car. "I'll be right back." No one answered. The old woman was still smiling. The giant man never looked away from me. Slowly, I turned around. Then I walked toward the front door. The second I stepped outside, I ran. I didn't look back. I sprinted straight to my car. My hands were already reaching for the door handle when I froze. Every tire was flat. All 4 of them. Someone had slashed them. Fresh cuts. Deep cuts. My heart dropped. That meant someone had gone outside while I was still inside the house, and I never heard them. Then I heard a voice behind me. "He's outside." He didn't get far. It was Hank. I turned around. The giant man was already walking toward me. The rifle was still in his hands. He wasn't running. He didn't need to. Somehow, he knew. I had nowhere to go. I looked at the empty road. No cars. No lights. No houses. Then I looked behind me. The forest. Dark. Silent. It was my only chance. Without thinking, I jumped over the ditch and disappeared into the trees. Behind me, I heard the old woman laughing. It wasn't loud. It wasn't normal. It followed me, even after I was deep inside the forest. The forest was completely dark. I couldn't see more than a few feet ahead. Branches kept hitting my face. Every step felt louder than the last. After a minute, I stopped. My chest burned. I could barely breathe. Then, I heard it. Crunch. A footstep. Heavy. Slow. Coming closer. I dropped to the ground and crawled behind the biggest tree I could find. I covered my mouth with both hands. I was afraid. Even my breathing would give me away. The footsteps grew louder. Crunch. 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 They stopped. Right in front of me. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I just listened. Then, I saw a pair of boots. Less than 6 feet away. The giant man. He was holding the rifle and slowly looking around. I could hear him breathing. Calm. Patient. Like he knew I was still there. A few seconds later, he took one more step, then another, and slowly disappeared into the darkness. I stayed where I was. 10 seconds. 20. Maybe a full minute. I wasn't taking any chances. Finally, I slowly stood up and started crawling toward the road. But just as I reached the edge of the forest, I heard the old woman's voice. Soft, almost like a whisper. "He's coming back." My blood ran cold. She wasn't talking to me. She was talking to someone else. I stayed frozen. I didn't know who she was talking to, and I wasn't about to find out. I ran. This time, I didn't stop. When I reached the road, my car was exactly where I had left it. All 4 tires were still destroyed. I climbed inside, turned the key, and somehow, the engine started. I didn't care if the wheels were ruined. I slammed the gas pedal and drove away. The car shook violently. Metal scraped against the road, but I never looked back. About 2 miles later, the engine finally died. I left the car, ran to the nearest gas station, and called a tow truck. I never called the police. I couldn't. I was a criminal myself. There was no story I could tell without ending up in prison. So, I buried that night in my memory. Years passed. I quit stealing. I disappeared. I tried to forget that house. But one question never left my mind. Why did they slash my tires? Before I even tried to leave, they weren't trying to stop a thief. They were making sure I could never escape. And sometimes, late at night, I still wake up thinking about that old woman. Her smile, her eyes, and the way she looked at me, like she wasn't looking at a stranger. She was looking at her next victim. To this day, I still believe, if I had stayed inside that house for just one more minute, you would never be hearing this story. Some stories end, others stay with you forever. If you enjoyed this nightmare, subscribe to Phantom Chronicles. I'll see you in the next story.